Today, I'm going to talk about how to pay off your student loans using a Roth IRA. The why, the when, and should you use the Roth IRA for those student loans? We're about to find out. If this is your first time at our channel or you haven't subscribed, click on the subscribe button at the bottom. My name is Travis Sickle, Certified Financial Planner with Sickle Hunter Financial Advisors. So the Roth IRA, it goes in with after-tax dollars, gross tax deferred, and in retirement, tax-free. But what happens when you're looking at the Roth IRA before age 59 and a half? The rules change a little bit. So there are two main parts to the Roth IRA that I want to talk about first. The first part is the contributions. Anything that you put into the Roth IRA is with after-tax dollars, so that's money from your checking or your savings account. It goes into the Roth IRA. Now, anything you put into the Roth IRA, you could take that money right out. A day, a week, a month, a year, it doesn't matter. You could take it out of the Roth IRA, tax and penalty free. Now, the second part of it is the growth portion or your earnings. So if you put in, say, $6,000 into a Roth IRA and it grows to $8,000, then $6,000 is your contributions and $2,000 are your growth or your earnings. So when that money comes out, the growth comes out, it might be taxable, especially if you're under age 59 and a half. So where can you find these exceptions? In Publication 590B, published by the IRS. It's right there on the IRS website. I'll put a link in the description at the bottom, but I'm going to share with you what some of those exceptions are, or all the exceptions. So the exceptions for the Roth IRA, if you're trying to pull out the growth out of the Roth IRA, these exceptions are you have reached age 59 and a half, which is basically retirement. You're totally or permanently disabled. You are the beneficiary of a deceased IRA owner, or you must use the distributions to buy, build, or rebuild your first home. That's the first-time home purchase. Or the distributions are part of a series of substantially equal payments. I'm going to get into that. And you have unreimbursed medical expenses that are more than 7.5% of your adjusted gross income for the year. You have to pay medical insurance premiums during the period of unemployment, or this is the important one, the distributions aren't more than your qualified educational expenses. So I'm going to read that one again. The distributions aren't more than your qualified education expenses. So that's an important one that we're going to come back to. The distribution is due to an IRS levy for the qualified plan. The distribution is a qualified reservist distribution. So those are the ways that you can avoid the 10% penalty on money that's coming out of a Roth IRA. Now, the one that has to do with the student loans or educational expenses would be the distributions aren't more than your qualified higher education expenses. But does that cover student loans? Well, we have to go figure out what are qualified educational expenses, but it's right there in the same publication. Qualified educational expenses are tuition, fees, books, supplies, and equipment required for the enrollment or attendance of a student at an eligible educational institution. No student loans on there. So student loans are not a qualified educational expense as far as the Roth IRA is concerned. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't deduct your qualified educational interest payments. It just means that you can't get a tax break on that 10% early withdrawal penalty if you take the money from the Roth IRA to pay off your student loans. So just to clarify, and what this really means for you is you could take the money from the Roth IRA, including the growth, and pay for qualified educational expenses directly when you incurred them. But you can't, if you're going back several years, say, hey, I have student loans, I've already graduated, I have a Roth IRA, and I want to pay off these student loans. You just can't use the growth or the earnings in order to avoid that 10% penalty. So no, repayments of the loan in avoidance of the 10% penalty, that's just not going to happen. You're going to pay ordinary income and the 10%. So let's say that you're in the 22% tax bracket and you pull earnings out of your Roth IRA. Not only are you going to get hit with 22% in taxes, but an additional 10% because it's the early withdrawal or below age 59 and a half. So if you really want to take the money out, how can we do it? Well, you can go back to those contributions that you put in and you can take those out tax and penalty free. And you can do whatever you want with that money. It doesn't have to be just for the loans. You can go to the casino, you can go on vacation, buy a new car. It doesn't matter. It's still tax and penalty free. The second thing that you can do is you could just take out the growth in the earnings, pay the 10%, pay the ordinary income, and then just pay off the loans. It's possible, but probably not the smartest financial decision. Or you could follow Rule 72T. Now, this is a very technical one, and it was on the list of things that you can avoid the 10% early withdrawal penalty. And one of those was the distributions are part of a series of substantially equal payments. That's Rule 72T. But this requires that you take out those payments over at least a 5-year period and up until age 59 and a half. And if you needed more or less money, it doesn't matter. It tells you exactly the amount of money that you're required to take out in order to meet Rule 72T. So it's probably not the best situation, although it is available. Number 4 has to look at a Roth conversion, and that's taking money from your traditional IRA, paying the income tax, and then putting it into the Roth IRA. While that might sound like a great idea and a quick way to get the money out, you have to wait 5 years before you pull that Roth conversion out of the Roth IRA. And you're going to be bumped into a higher tax bracket in the year that you do the conversion, and your student loan still won't be paid off. So that might not be the route that you want to take, and you want to take a look to see how much more in income tax you're going to pay. While it is possible to use your Roth IRA to pay off your student loans, there are probably other ways that'll be more valuable to you and your financial situation. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe and leave your comments down at the bottom.